Hi everyone, it's Caroline here again, Caroline Murphy-Bennis for my Friday reading from Declare a Republic, a Free State of Mind. This week I think I selected a poem that kind of came out of a podcast that I did during the week. It reminded me of this poem, and the conversation was around our relationship with our children and the sacred relationship that we have with a parent. And it reminded me of this poem, which is called The Holy Relationship. And really, this is one of the most important poems in the book. It's kind of the foundation stone for the philosophy within it. And I remember when it came to me, it came after the first poem, which was about the homecoming and the immigrants coming back home, from being, banished from their land. And it was kind of the Irish immigrants, but also like ourselves coming back home to ourselves. And then I was just cooking the dinner one day and I could hear this drum. It's like a bowron was playing in my head, really strong, like a warrior drum, the beat of a drum. And then the words came, and what the words were saying was more than, it's a very short poem, but the feeling behind it was, the relationship that we have with each other is like the beat of a drum, and the consciousness that we bring to each conversation that we have with each other is like, the symbol of the eternal symbol. So the conversation and the depth and the honesty and the clarity that we can bring to each interaction with each other is kind of like a sacred space that we kind of can hold. And as we become more masterful in that, we can really start to emerge as, a transformed kind of consciousness. And I think the word, it was interesting for me when the words came, it was called the holy relationship. So, how do we come back to our wholeness is through relationship and through mending poor relations. And the picture that I put with it was, actually a family gathering around the fire, and it was, it's a primal kind of image. That's something that we still enjoy today, and that this kind of warmth of the heart, the heart of the fire, and brings us back to our own heart. And as we can talk honestly to each other and be open, we can really kind of transform ourselves and transform other people, and that brings us back to wholeness. And the poem itself it's called The Holy Relationship. So it's the eternal and the wholeness in one. So it's kind of the movement of that kind of relating to each other, and which never dies, it goes throughout time. So it's called The Holy Relationship. From the eye to the tongue to the ear of God, from the ear to the heart to the mind of God. And that could go on and on and on for eternity until, we start to kind of come back to our realization of, like we talked last week about the waves in the sea, that we come and we go. And within that time, what do we do? Is how we relate to each other, is how we can evolve ourselves and society. And the word God is something that I rarely ever use, and I just thought it was interesting that it came in the poem in this form. It's not something outside of us, but something in each moment. How do we see what arises in each moment? If we see what arises in the fabric of our existence, and in life itself as an element of the eternal life, and what we would traditionally call as God, but as if it was everything that appears in our vision is, sacred. So as such, we could call it divine. So it's the divine beauty of life itself, and the divine beauty in relationship with ourselves and with others. So I hope you enjoyed that, and maybe you'll have a little reflection on that, and I'll see you next week. Bye.